lot that has been going down this past week between Michael and Kayleigh. I did an interview with Michael, a 2-part interview, and then Kayleigh came out and did a 2-part interview. And since then, it seems like it's been like a whole domino effect. Suddenly, all this stuff is coming out. And Kayleigh and Michael have both been sharing receipts. Michael shared some conversations of receipts between him and Kayleigh. It looks like this is right when they're splitting. So I guess Kayleigh was talking about how she was going to go after Michael for all the things she gave him while he was locked up and all the money he sent him. And he said, those are gifts. In marriage, those are gifts. And she said, no problem. I'll have my attorney figure all this out. They're actually not gifts, especially in emails where you said that you pay me back when you get out, which of course I have. But she said, but sure, if you want to play like this, let's go. And he said, so you've been planning this for a while, then keeping proof. And she says, I'll also be recovering all the money that I spent on Rocky. That's Michael's son. She said, because those aren't gifts and that's not my child. She said, I actually haven't, but I know that you've been prison talking me. And I have a message from you telling you that I was signing the car over and you didn't say anything that I could not. And I had power of attorney forms proving that I had the right to do it. That are more updated than your mom. So if you really want to get into a legal battle, I'm going to pull all the receipts. And here's some more messages. I think I accidentally reshared the message that we just looked at here on the left. But this is a new one on the right where they're going back and forth because Kayleigh had Michael on her insurance, and she said, like I said, I would keep you on the insurance until the first of the year, but I'm not keeping you on my insurance after. And he said, that's fine. I'll find insurance by then. And she said, also, I'm not splitting the money any differently than what we've already discussed. And he said, my lawyer said because you signed my name and I wasn't present, I can recover fair market value of the car. And she said, okay, I'll have my lawyer sign up paperwork, no problem. And he said, I have him online now. And then she said, but then I'll be going after the money that I spent on you while you're in prison. Okay, so I accidentally shared those out of order. So that one that I just read should have went before the first one we read. And that's when he starts saying, look, those were gifts because you decided to send them to me because you're my wife. Then he asked her to call her. She said called, so I'm assuming it's the same. And he said 2 advances were taken out before I was released. Then 1 after I got out. I got $1,000 for then 1 to get the house and then 1 to get the house. It is what it is, but the total amount of money from Love during lockup is split minus the $2,000 advance from the house, taking off the $4,600 that you got from your total and $1,000 for mine. We split money before finalization. Arizona state law says for you to keep me on insurance till after divorce. I would be able to pay you the premium for my alone insurance out of my part of Love during lockup money. But he wasn't paid, but they don't pay the inmate for Love during lockup, but he claims that Kayleigh promised him half the money, but as part of their divorce agreement, he was not entitled to any of the money from Love during lockup. So she goes, like I said, I would keep you on the insurance until the first of the year, but I'm not keeping you on my insurance after. He said, that's fine. I'll find insurance by then. And she said, also, I'm not splitting the money any differently than what we've already discussed. And then this is some other messages from earlier where she said, one thing I'm not going to do is play this game with you. I left you because you effing abused me. And he said, I never touched you. And she said, so make sure you tell your attorney that, because if you want to play hardball, we're going to play hardball. And then she said, he said, I have multiple messages saying you were okay with it. And she said, and you acting like this isn't going to get you anywhere. All messages going forward can be forwarded to my attorney. I'm done. And he said, why are you even like this, telling me I abused you? And she said, have a good life, Mike. And he said, I never abused you. I never prison talked you. And she said, sure did. Either way, it doesn't matter. And he said, stop this, Kayleigh. Let's meet up and talk right now. And she said, no, I'm good. I have nothing to say to you. And then she pretty much said, you're just upset because I'm not with you anymore and I've moved on. Let's just call it what it is. And he said, I have multiple messages saying that you were okay with it. And I'm assuming talking about, how rough they got in the bedroom. And she said, and you acting like this isn't going to get you anywhere. All messages going forward, you can go to my attorney. Okay, yeah, so we kind of read part of them towards the end. But yeah, these are the messages that were leaked by Michael between him and Kayleigh. I think these were some of the messages he was talking about during our interview. Kayleigh accused Michael of SA, and they have been going back and forth. Kayleigh claimed in the police report that Michael showed up at her house at 11 p.m. at night, came in and told her kids to go to bed, took her to her room, tied her up, took her phone, and then woke up at 5 in the morning and untied her and left. She was claiming in the police report that he SA'd her in between that time. I asked Michael about that. He said it was impossible because he was unable to leave his halfway house past 9 p.m. But Kayleigh revealed that he was on an overnight pass, and she did share this clip where she's like, look guys, look at the contradiction, because in this interview he did with this radio station at the beginning, he does admit it was an overnight pass, but then he goes back and says, oh no, I can't leave past 9. So
so that's the rope. Right. So I go over to the house on my first overnight, right? Bring the rope, whatever. One thing leads to another, this, that, and the other. And then I leave. And she sends me messages the next day that are like, hey baby, I had this fun, and making jokes about all the things we did. And I'm not responding really to her, whatever. She's sending me messages and everything. And then she tells me, she's like, she sends me a joke like, here lies Kayleigh. I went to the doctor, and the doctor said that you choked me too hard because I saw stars. I was like, all you had to do is stop, tell me to stop. And she's like, no, it's okay.
She have a safe word?
Yeah, right. And then she's like a joke, a message says, here lies Kayleigh. She liked kinky sex so much that she died from it. Or I mean, and those aren't the exact words, but that's basically kind of what the message said. And so I have screenshots of all this. But then she went to the cops and said, hey, he choked me and beat me in the room while my kids were on the other thing trying to stop him. And he pushed my kids out of the way and some other shit. And she's like, and the funny thing is, she's like, he showed up to my house at 11 at night in an Uber. So let's get something straight. I was at a halfway house at Roosevelt RRC. All right. And if anyone goes online or calls RRC Roosevelt, they'll know that there's a curfew of 9 p.m. You can't leave past 9 p.m. All right. I don't give a fuck where you're going. You're not leaving the place at 9 p.m. So anyone can go look that up and fact check that.
Or you're not coming back.
Right. And if you do leave, the 100% is an escape. You're going to prison.
Okay, so yeah, I did call the halfway house, and they did confirm that they do have a 9 p.m. curfew, but they do allow overnights if you've been there for a certain period of time and had good behavior. And he did say at the beginning it was an overnight.
So that's the rope. Right.
Or am I just chirping?
So I go over to the house on my first overnight, right? Bring the rope, whatever. One thing leads to another, this, that, and the other. And then I leave. And she sends me messages the next day that are like,
so he admitted to bringing the rope the overnight. But I guess what he's pretty much trying to say is consensual. But yeah, first he did say overnight.